It's another fine day here in the Mountain State as we begin yet another exciting, exhilarating and entertaining episode of Coffee Anyone, the talk show that brings people together, people from all walks of life, and over the course of just 30 minutes or so with a cup of really excellent coffee, underlines the fact that we're all in this life together, and it makes much more sense if we all get along with one another rather than trying to score points playing at being a keyboard warrior. We'll meet our wonderful guest in a moment, and I know he's desperate for me to shut my yap and let him speak. But first, let me introduce the man whose vision built this house of politeness, the gentleman whose very name strikes fear into the hearts of diseases, infections, and painful joints. My friend and yours, Dr. Ali Khan.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Love, how are you, sir?
Good.
How are you? I'm so glad you're here.
Me too. Thank you for having me.
Well, this guy, Derrick Love.
Yeah.
He is running for. He's a Republican.
Okay.
And he is in District 12, running for the Senate seat in West Virginia. And he struck me as a little odd.
Oh, really?
When I was looking at his Facebook page, I was very surprised.
Yes.
And you know what?
What?
He wants to take care of potholes. He wants to bring jobs. He wants to take care of his town instead of talking about redundant things. Silly stuff.
This is crazy talk.
This is just crazy. Why would you want to improve your city when you can talk about sending some money from West Virginia state to maybe build a wall or something? So I mean, you can do that. You can take millions of dollars from West Virginia budget and just send it,
right,
whether they want it or not.
Right.
Why would you want to do the potholes?
Why?
Yeah, actually, they're a lot of fun to drive in. You know, just dodging those things.
I don't like those perfectly aligned rims.
That? Why would you not send money for building a wall? And why would you want to fix the potholes? Are you crazy?
Well, no, I don't think I'm crazy, but I guess maybe you and your viewers will chime in and let me know. Well, this is what I think. West Virginia, we really are one big family here.
Right.
One big family that is diverse and beautiful in that diversity. And I believe in coming together to help solve our problems. And, we need to count on one another to come to the table like this,
right,
and fix the potholes and pave the roads and finish Corridor H.
Right, that's a great idea.
Do the things that...
but that's what surprised me, because the normal talk out there is making... I'm not going after anybody.
Right.
It's just making sanctuary cities and making things that are already on the law, just showing off. But you are saying, let's fix the potholes. Let's get the Corridor H finished so we can bring more jobs to West Virginia. So why are you actually taking care of the actual problems and not talking about silly stuff?
Well, one thing I would say about sanctuary cities, if you will, every city in America is a sanctuary to the entire U.S. Constitution.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. So why make all those...
And one amendment stands not above the other.
Exactly.
So those things, well, it's nice to reaffirm our declarations and that, I suppose. But what we need to do in West Virginia is work together to build a brighter future for everyone. And part of that is not sending $10 million somewhere else, but in fixing Corridor H, making sure that you can get to school, get to work without losing the wheel off your car.
Right.
Those things. And, the governor is Roads to Prosperity project, as you can see in Lewis County with changing the interstate about. I mean, that's what, $26 million well spent.
Right.
That's not $10 million going somewhere else.
Oh, that makes total sense, doesn't it?
It does.
Sending money where it's needed. It's needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
sense.
Revolutionary.
Oh, it's totally. I was actually thinking about finding a candidate who would talk sense instead of
Yeah.
The same thing again. So it
the same
seems
old
like
talking points, yeah.
he knows what he's talking about. How long have you been in Lewis County? How long?
My whole life.
Your whole life?
Whole life.
Yeah, and you ran for office, what was it, 20 years ago?
Yeah, well, just about. Got a little gray hair since then.
Yeah?
Back then they said I was too young and nobody knew me, so now...
A name like yours?
Right.
Oh, man. Derrick Love. Why was
Everyone needs a
not
little love.
that much love 20 years ago for you?
Well, I was young, I guess, but I learned a lot. One of the things that is really great about growing up in a small town in West Virginia is that, I had two former members of the House of Delegates that really mentored me. Mm-hmm. One was a Democrat and one was a Republican. And they had very different views.
Right.
But I respected them both. And they both took the time to talk to me and encourage me. And every
Can you tell us their names?
Bob Conley and Eck Arnold. Mm-hmm. They both served in the House of Delegates. And they were both very kind to spend time with me as a young man who just was trying to get involved. And that's a blessing because, we really add on to one another as we, get out there and try to build a brighter future for West Virginia. And that's something I think that in the fever of national dialogue sometimes gets lost because nowadays we get all worked up and forget that we're
people get angry.
Yeah,
people get angry with different people, different religions, different churches.
Anything. Anything.
They get mad about everything.
Right. People get mad at what cars you drive.
Yeah. Do you know what is the second most common language after English spoken in West Virginia?
I'll get into trouble for saying this. Is it redneck?
Yes, you will get in trouble.
I will get in trouble with that.
Yes.
Sorry, everybody.
It's Arabic.
Arabic, is it really?
Yeah. In West Virginia, the second most important language is not redneck, and I did not say that
No,
either.
you didn't. Because we all know that's the first enemy. So.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody.
But that's because a lot of doctors from Middle East have come over here, settled down, and have provided healthcare in this state where there was a need. Actually, in Lewis County, there are some Syrian doctors over there too, working at Stonewall Jackson Hospital and at Ruby Memorial Hospital. There are a lot of them. But I've seen that there is some anger towards Muslim population. Somehow they are second or third class citizens, even though they have come and contributed to the economy, healthcare of this great state. What do you say to that? I know you talk about diversity. What do you say to that? And what would you tell folks who somehow have difficulty accepting them or their kids in some way because of their faith?
Well, I think that's really sad because that's not what West Virginia is about.
Right.
West Virginia is a loving state, like we are close-knit families,
right.
And we're proud to share our traditions, and we show respect to one another and to those who come to our state, and we have to respect each other and learn from each other, and have a real, honest appreciation for our differences and exchange our culture in ways that show you the value in both, because the principles that guide us all are things that we build upon that are good things. The differences that are our uniqueness of character that adds to our blend, but the basic things that build a community, those are good things.
Yeah, you could have different views
in everybody.
You could have different views, but you could work for the betterment of this state and country.
Yes.
So you could have different faith. I mean, I can tell you, I did not I did not like people from Scotland, but when I met him,
right.
I said, well, there you go. We can be friends. I mean, we are not that good friends.
Well, not really. I mean, as soon as the cameras turn off, we can go our separate ways. I understand that.
Yeah, but all their odd accents, their
the
weird
smell of
facial
haggis.
hair,
Yeah.
and I never liked Sean Connery. I never liked Sean Connery. Yeah,
Neither do we.
I was more of a fan of Ursula Andress.
Ah, yes.
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 But I wasn't a big fan of Sean Connery. So I never liked people from Scotland. But once I got to know him, I thought he's acceptable.
Yeah.
Barely.
Yeah.
But acceptable. But barely.
It kind of grows on you, right? I mean, just a little bit.
That would be saying too much.
Perhaps a little too much, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
too much. So you want to bring jobs to West Virginia. What do you think about the future of coal?
Well, I think that it's essential for West Virginia to support coal. Obviously, we have a long tradition in that, but that doesn't mean that is the only thing that we need to be investing in, because energy as a whole, like natural gas, of course,
Right.
As they build the pipeline, that provides consistency in the electric industry. That's one of the things that we're seeing develop, right? And it means that, you have a multifaceted approach here. You have gas and coal that we may be using in cleaner, more purified ways, so that we acknowledge the impact on the environment. And we also need to be investing time and money and resources in developing other alternative energy sources, and because
Green sources.
Well,
is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, because really energy companies in the future will be just that, energy companies.
Right.
Because eventually we're not going to just have a coal company.
You
just
do
a
realize
gas company.
that when you say green, some people will start getting hives. So
Well, yeah, but see, that's one thing. One thing is not to the detriment of the other.
right.
And that's why I say, like, as we continue to evolve, that is, we're becoming energy companies, because that's what we're supplying. Not, I think that you see that more and more taking place in the market. So that's where the future is. It's about how we supply that energy and provide it to consumers in a more cost-effective way, and one that acknowledges environmental impact and manages that in such a way that we're not just causing harm, but actually facilitating a healthy environment overall.
Yeah, there's been some impact on the environment in some of the cities in West Virginia, which has been bad. I mean, some people are having difficulty with the chemical spills and in the southern part of West Virginia, which is not good. But at the same time, you have to look for jobs too. You don't want to lose jobs.
Right.
But would you give tax incentives to industries to come into West Virginia? Are you in support of that? Are you not in support of that?
Well, okay. What we have to do in West Virginia is build an environment that supports business, and that also means supporting labor and families, right?
Right.
Because you have to have a healthy, ready workforce.
Right.
So one of the things that we face in West Virginia is a drug epidemic.
Right.
And that goes beyond opioids. The drug changes at times, does it not?
Right.
Have we not faced, that sort of thing? We have to make sure that our families are healthy and well taken care of in those respects. So you have to have a workforce that's ready for that, and I think that we need to focus on that a little bit more. There's a lot of federal money coming down the pipeline, but we need to make sure that those dollars are well spent, and that we're not just locking individuals up and throwing them away, that we're actually providing treatment so that they take...
What is your plan for that? Let's say I give you $100 million.
Well, thank you. That was good of you.
Yeah.
This is
what are your
what time
plans?
is it?
What are your
$100 million.
plans? How would you decrease the amount of drug use? Because remember, there's three kinds of people out there. One, people who will never do drugs. I mean, if you just get it out there, it's not like we're going to line up and get that. Some people who are in the middle, and some people will never come off of it. So what are your plan with the $100 million I gave you in federal money? How would you implement a plan to decrease the amount of drug use in West Virginia?
Okay. Well, now, I think it's interesting that you said that, though. That you said there's some that would never come off of it.
Right.
And some that would never try a drug. But, we all, like we're drinking coffee, right?
Right.
You can drink too much coffee and lose your way in that.
Right.
Right? So we don't want to approach people in such a judgmental way that it prevents them from getting help.
Right.
Because, I think too often that happens.
But you actually, if let's say I gave you the money, you're going to have.
I really like this.
Yes.
$100 million.
Yeah.
Is,
but the thing is, there are certain people you'll have difficulty getting them off, but you still have to provide them help.
Right.
In other ways, prevention of disease, prevention of transmission of disease, and things like that. Because let's say somebody is doing intravenous drugs and they're sharing needles, you're transmitting disease. So what I meant to say is, if let's say, for example, somebody is not coming off of the drugs, but they are still spreading the disease, how would you approach that? And then there are some people who will try to come off of it. Because obviously, if there are 100 people out there, there will be probably 4 or 5 who will absolutely try to not come off of it. So how would your plan work where you work on all those 3 groups?
Okay, I'm beginning to get you there. Okay, so this is the way I see it. What would you say the number one reason someone uses an illegal substance is?
Well, it's mostly because of underlying stress, depression, psychiatric problems that are there. So it's a disease that is associated with a lot of factors that could be genetic, there could be environmental, and some people get into it. So what?
Well, see, I would say it's a lack of hope. It's a lack of role and position in their family and in their community. So like when people get dismissed from their community, then they lose their way. So we have lots of things. I mean, there's a role to play and something for everybody to do in West Virginia. And one of the things that I think would help bring them back into the community is a volunteer program. So what we do is not only just, say, hey, smack the hand and throw them in a cell, and then, you throw them all together and you leave them in there for a little while, and then we turn them loose and expect a different result. Well, that doesn't make too much sense. But if we actually integrate them into the community where they belong and help them become a part of, you're picking up trash along the road, whether it's that or painting the curb, and we do this with them because no one's above helping their community. That's where we belong and help one another. And by integrating them like that, while they're, receiving counseling and things like that, I think we would go a long way. Now, we've started to do that to some degree, but I think we need greater investment in that way, because once you become a part of your community, then you feel that value as an individual that you should, because you're taking part in something that we all need you for.
So what I'm hearing is your idea is more volunteerism. Maybe you will spend some of that money for better mental health.
Yes, of course.
Because right now in the state of West Virginia, we have very few psychiatrists available, and that money could be used to provide mental health facilities where people can go there and get the help. and local health departments can help out with that too. So you will help with that. And obviously people who are not doing it, they don't need anything, maybe just education in schools where people can get educated about the harm of drug use in schools. Maybe that would be something you could think of, and so you could use that money that way. Now we come to that group. Obviously, we use that $100 million for helping with mental health and all those things. But there is a group that, let's say, have the capability of spreading the disease by using needles. Are you in favor of needle exchange programs, or are you not in favor of needle exchange programs where people are provided new needles in exchange for the old needles to prevent the spread of infection?
Well, I think that needle exchange programs are, I think that's a positive way that is looked at in a negative way. I mean, just to start with, you can ignore it.
Right.
You can say, I disavow what you're doing.
Right.
I do so much that, go ahead and use the dirty needle. Right. But what are you really doing?
Yeah, you're spreading the disease.
Well, you're turning your back on it.
Right.
Because of their problem.
And when they come to get the needle, you can actually counsel them.
Yes, you're starting a dialogue.
Right.
And
but there is a lot of negative negative views about the needle exchange program. It may actually lose you some votes, but you're saying that you're for it.
Yes, I am.
That's very commendable for somebody to say, which is actually scientifically proven to be. The science has shown that the needle exchange program saves lives, saves people. Yeah. And but people out there try to play politics, and they say, no, this is no good. But Mr. Love is saying that is very positive. It's very positive for you. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of politicians going out there and saying something that makes sense scientifically.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, you have to be willing to reach out to your fellow man and help them.
That makes sense. But people like to say this, not in my backyard.
Yeah.
So if somebody...
Well, it's already in their backyard.
Right.
So, they can turn their head away from it and say, it's not my child, but maybe it is.
Yeah. And one day, if they have some problem with drugs, at least somebody will be out there helping them out, right?
Yeah.
So more psychiatric help, mental health facilities available. I mean, right now there is not a lot of places that will actually take somebody and get them detoxed.
Well, yeah, I mean, in West Virginia, you have probably a line around the block at a couple facilities in Morgantown, and I think there was a facility set up in Preston County that was even of Netflix fame there that was approaching it from an outside the box solution. But I think that we need to do more things like that because we are one big family,
right?
And
we just got to take care of
we have
each
to take
other.
care of
My
each
friend
other.
said something very interesting, and I've been saying that also. So let's say somebody has lung cancer. You don't go out there and say, well, you deserved it because you smoked. So die. But it's just like that. It's a disease. You got to help people out. You can't just turn your eyes away from them and say, no, I'm not going to do that. So you still have to help. I mean, somebody may be driving drunk, but if they're in an accident, you try to help them.
Right.
You don't say, okay, I'm out of here because you were drinking and driving. But you try to help everybody.
Well,
so I agree with your point there. I mean,
Well,
I think it makes perfect sense.
What makes us human is that we care for and love one another. And,
Right.
And that's a part of that. That's just what we do.
Yeah, that's a great point. Now, what help would you be providing, and what are your plans for promoting small businesses in West Virginia?
Well, actually, with small business, for instance, besides the obvious, if you will. Infrastructure is a big thing. If the road is rocky out front, obviously it becomes difficult for you to receive your customers, right? And broadband in West Virginia is something that we've seen. We've received recent investment in, and that is like that's the paved road that reaches way beyond. And West Virginia really must we must invest in internet connectivity in such a way that we offer the best in the country. Because if we don't, we'll fall behind very quickly. We can leapfrog this up if we concentrate on that kind of investment, because West Virginians deserve to connect to the world. That is where the marketplace is now. So we need to make that a primary focus, and that will bring small businesses just like...
Whoa.
What did I do?
You wrecking the place.
Why did you do that?
just like this coffee shop. I mean, it's great coffee, and we're connecting to the world right now. As we do that at faster, greater speeds and help develop new technologies for us all to enjoy in the marketplace, that will bring small town America to a big new world, I think. So in a whole new way. We need to get there faster and faster.
Before we go, I think this was a great exchange. I love that. We have something for you.
Okay. Yes. We have the folder. Are you aware of the folder?
Right. Well, just slightly.
Okay.
Just slightly.
Let me give you the folder. Here, right?
Yes.
In that folder, there's two pieces of paper.
Okay.
There's a piece of paper that says friend. There's a piece of paper that says polite, tolerant acquaintance. What we want you to do is think about your time on the show.
Yes.
And think about, our discussion, our time together here. Do you consider yourself a friend of the show? Do you consider yourself a polite, tolerant acquaintance? Either one is fine. If you're the polite, tolerant acquaintance, that's fine with us. We'll absolutely still embrace you and still enjoy your time here with us today.
Get the 40,000 a year.
40,000. That would be if I am the president. Which I cannot be. I can say that because I can never be the president. I wasn't born here.
That's true.
Yeah, I can never be the president. But I think this plan works. I've got some really interesting plans out there.
That's okay, because I still consider you a friend.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So are you going to sing a song for us?
Well, I can't really sing, but I'm open to you giving me lessons.
Tuning fork.
My son is actually a very good singer, and he has prepared a song for us today. Yes, you did.
I hear an objection.
So please come on and sing a song for us.
Oh, wonderful.
Power on.
Power on.
He's a great singer.
Bring him on.
He's going to come over here. What are we singing?
There he is.
So we have to kind of sing together. I have no idea what we're...
Okay. What are we singing?
Okay, this is a great song, a very nice song. It's called The Cowboy's Lament.
Okay.
Has anybody heard the song Cowboy's Lament?
Got me.
Would you sing that with me?
Can I go on ahead and put on some music, though?
No, I don't want music. Your singing should be enough.
Right.
Okay.
Give us a C. A bouncy C.
Feel free to join in.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
How does it start? Yeah. Okay. Ready?
Ready.
As I walked out in the streets of Laredo, as I walked out in Laredo one day, I spied a one cowboy all wrapped in white linen, as cold as the clay.
Good enough.
Come on. I can see by your outfit that you are a cowboy. These words he said when I slowly walked by. Come sit down beside me and hear my sad story. Shot in the breast and I know I must die.
That's not a very cheerful song, is it? My goodness.
Back to you, sir.
And back to me. Our time is up. Thank you to our guests for joining us tonight, for being so open and receptive to coming on the show, and for being grilled by a couple of immigrants for a half hour. Actually, 45 minutes now, there we are. Thank you also to our wonderful friends at Doremi here in College Avenue in beautiful Buchanan for giving us space and time and some good old-fashioned caffeine to help fuel the lunacy. Thanks also to our sponsor, Main Street Antiques, who provide our guests with a surprise gift. This time it's an empty envelope. You didn't see that one coming now, did you? Seriously, though, thanks to Main Street Antiques for playing along with us. And thanks finally to you for watching. Thanks in advance for subscribing, for telling your friends, and for your continued support. And remember, it's never too late to take a new friend seriously. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.